Hey guys, it's Bui
And John.
and today we're going to be going over the last few days of development for our boss rush game. We made a couple changes to weapons. First and foremost, attacking now costs stamina. We've also reworked the penetration stat. Penetration is now the number we use to calculate damage if an attack is blocked. We've also introduced attack speed and recovery speed, which is the time it takes for an actor to be able to take an action after they have their attack blocked. These changes allow us to have much more design space and allow players to gravitate towards things that they enjoy. For example, say a player enjoys a more of a fast flurry style, well, they can use a short sword which has a faster attack speed. Or maybe they want to do a lot of damage in one blow, well, hammers have a lot of attack damage and penetration. A big thing that we want to push is that decisions matter. Giving the players decisions is a huge deal as they do a lot for the player from a design standpoint. For one, the decisions that the player makes are ones that they identify with, an example being weapon and armor choice that a player makes. Decisions also have an inherent opportunity cost. Because gold is a finite resource, a player can only make a limited amount of decisions pertaining to their inventory. There are stages in the game where we let the player choose who they want to fight for the same reason. However, if the player loses, they can always reload the game and pick a new opponent. And later down the line when they have more gold, they can always just buy different weapon types and different armor types. So we wanted to introduce a more permanent choice for players. So we started to introduce the idea of attributes. There are currently 5 attributes in the game. One is base damage, which is the damage done to enemies that don't block. Base penetration, damage done to blocking enemies. Attack speed, attack recovery, and charisma, which is bonus gold on top of rewards. It's undecided how many attribute points we'll give to the player per level, so that's something that we'll have to keep an eye out during testing. And lastly, we've implemented temporal potions, starting with temporary speed boost, which temporarily boosts the player's speed for 6 seconds. This is huge because now we can play with temporary damage, penetration, and the aforementioned attributes with these new potions, giving players more options for how they want to prepare for battle.
Another big thing that we tried to push this week was to make combat feel more fluid. I added knockback to weapons. I created animations for strafing and backpedaling so that the player doesn't look like they're running in one direction all the time anymore. Also did the animations for blocking and staggering, so now that if the enemy successfully blocks my attack, the character will start losing their balance and I might think to myself, oh, I'm in trouble because the enemy will have an opportunity to hit me now. This week we had 2 goals for improving AI behavior. One, we wanted more variety. Instead of running at you all the time, now sometimes the enemy will try to block and strafe and try to get out of your range. Another goal that we had was to give the enemy a greater sense of identity. We want them to behave differently, use different weapons, use different abilities to kind of keep the game fresh. A stat that we're assigning to enemies now is called an aggro level. This determines how often they swing, how often they block. We'll have safe enemies that will tend to block more and more aggressive enemies that will just run at you all the time. Later on, we plan to implement different abilities to give to the enemy. Some we thought of were maybe a whirlwind combo or some kind of teleport move.
What's next for us is going to be a lot of gameplay testing. As Johnlam discussed earlier, we're going to have to implement enemy abilities in this next iteration. A big portion of game design in this game is going to be AI design to keep the game fresh and challenging without just playing a numbers game. We're also going to have to improve our aesthetics game by implementing the arena, character, enemies, and voice lines to bring flavor to the game and bring it to life. Once again, thank you all for watching. We really appreciate your support and we will see you guys next time. Be well.